Welcome to Reseller Recap, where we talk all things reselling across multiple platforms. Join us for real-life discussions on how we crush the elusive work-life balance. Grab a coffee and join us now.
Hey guys, welcome back to Reseller Recap with Jen, Emily, and Morgan. Today we're going to talk about kind of coming into the Q4 season. What's that mean? What do we need to do? How do we get our lives together before everything hits the fan like it always does in Q4? And we just don't even know what side is up. So we're going to kind of just jump right into that. So Morgan, when you think Q4, what kind of stuff is on your to-do list now to be ready for it?
The very first thing I try to get in order is all my supplies. So like poly bags, boxes. The one thing that sucks about boxes though is like you never know what is going to be that item that
Yeah.
like takes off for you. So you can prepare and get boxes, but I always tell people don't do too much because then you'll have like I remember my first year I had got like 100 4 cubed boxes, and that Q4 I never even sold anything that small. So I just had those boxes all the way. It carried me all the way to my second Q4. Then I had something that small, so it worked out. But I'm like, what am I gonna do with all these boxes? So like, yeah, like get more boxes, but kind of just like the more popular sizes. And then as you start to see what's really taking off for you, you can order those like one-off sizes. Definitely tape, labels. I feel like no matter what you do, though, no matter how much you order, you're still going to run out of something. It always happens to me every year.
Yeah.
I seem to always run out of either poly bags or like the shipping labels. Also, side note, I don't know if you know this, but apparently UPS is not offering free supplies anymore.
I heard rumblings. I haven't called them because they like got rid of my account.
Yeah.
So I need to call them to like re-get an account and figure out what's happening.
So I may or may not have opened a new account and I was able to order stuff. But from what they told me when I opened said account was that this is crazy. They want you to order supplies every single day. And I'm like, who is your customer base where people are ordering like hundreds of boxes or the labels come in thousands? Like, no. So we'll see. I placed an order last month. So, usually they make you wait 30 days. So I'm going to go back in. I think it's tomorrow is my 30th day and see if it lets me order. If not, it's going to be a sad day. I'll probably open another account and call them and stock up on everything. And then that'll be it.
Yeah. Where you guys measure the outside of the box, when it gives you dimensions, that's technically the interior dimensions of the box. And we have too many overages because of that. So thanks, FedEx.
Which was never an issue, ever an issue until last year. But I digress.
Yeah. Emily, what's on your list of like to-dos?
One thing I like to do is re-up my relationship with everybody at the post office, FedEx, UPS. Like, if you don't have a small business manager, somebody you can talk to, I like to go in and just like, I tend to do a lot of shipping. Is there any way I can, get access to the back gate? Like, you don't want to be doing that all when you have 500 orders. You want to do that now and also get their numbers, because I have their number to the inside office, not that's on the post office website. Mm-hmm. So I'll say at 8:00, hey, because they'll take my orders as long as someone's there, and it's really late in Q4. So I'll just call over at 8, 9. Is someone there? And if there is, they'll gladly open up the gate and let me drop off. So doing all of that now can be a lifesaver, making those relationships. So that's worth reaching out, letting them know you tend to have a lot of orders. What's the best? Because also that's a lot for them. If they don't know who you are and you bring them into the front. Like if you walk 500 orders, that's a lot of extra workload on whoever's at that desk. So they prefer you to have a relationship where, you have a number you can call and they have something set up for you extra that can save you. Also, you can get boxes that way. So if you needed a certain size and you don't want to wait on shipping and you call them, they'll usually like have a supply in the back room they can offer you. So it can be really helpful, to just take some time and make those connections now. That would probably be my biggest tip.
I agree with that because I specifically go to a certain post office because I've gotten to know them, and so they let me come in the back. Like the last postmaster, like I had his cell phone, he had mine. So like if I had some shipping supplies come in, you know, then he would say, "Hey, we have a pallet of this. Like if you want to pull up in the back, and we'll help you load it." Or I have a lot of packages, and they were helping me, you know, put them into the pumpkins and wheel them in, and so I've just gotten to know everybody by name, and I get really annoyed when I get on the Yelp, like I see their Yelp reviews or their Google reviews and people are reaming on them. And I'm like, they are literally the nicest post office people. It's because you come in with attitude and
Mm-hmm.
complain to them, and you're not realizing like, hey, these are
didn't
things
set
they
the
can
prices.
control. They did not choose to raise this or discontinue the service or,
Right.
you know, like back off, you know? So
Yeah.
I mean, so
I
much
always
so
soften
that
my
one of them has basically adopted my child. Like we, you know, she gives them candy and stuff. I bring them candy, and then she always gives me candy and like thanks
I
for
was
my
just gonna say I soften my all of my shipping people, UPS, FedEx,
yeah.
USPS, like usually it's around Q4, so for like Christmas, but I will also double back around like Easter and like
Yes.
Halloween. And I'll just like the post office, I'll bring them cookies or donuts. Same thing with UPS, FedEx. But I had a driver when FedEx pickups were free and UPS was only $4. And so they would come like almost every day and I would give them Amazon gift cards. And so I actually just saw my UPS guy. It's been the same UPS guy for what, this is year 3, I think. And I just saw him the other day. I was playing in the neighborhood and he was like, "Oh my God, how are you?" And every time he would see me, I was pregnant. And he's like, "You're not pregnant." And I was like, "Thank God."
Oh my God.
No more.
We would
Door
always
is
put
closed.
stuff we would always put stuff on the porch. So like we would never actually see each other. And then when I would see him, I was pregnant. And so he is
That's
like,
so
I was like, yeah, we're done with that. No more. But yeah, they like you said, it's like you build like relationships like with them. And even like the FedEx guy, he like would not towards the end he would text me and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in the neighborhood around this time." And I'm like, "Okay, great. I have time, it'll be like 1. So I have until 1 to get everything out that I needed to get out or whatever the case is. So it really helps to have a relationship with those people because also those people are caring for your packages. Like they could just be throwing it in the back of the truck, but
correct.
my
Yeah.
people don't. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I always felt like it was nice because they'd say just bring it in this way and then we can scan it. We're not having or like if you drop through the post office, like it's a little bit at least for our like all the post offices by me, it's like a little tiny basket and so it fills up. Like it doesn't hold
Yes.
as much because of the way that little like slot for packages is.
Yes.
I know mine, they prefer to have like boxes come around to the front, or they said just if it's that many, just come in the back. So you're not having to like walk all the way through the parking lot. Like you can pull up to the lift gate and like just unload and wheel on in and stuff. So I have a specific spot they let me park in. That's like not a
I
park.
love that.
I was like, I almost need a sign out there, like this is Jen's spot, but
I actually like scanning the packages, which I think is so like funny because I'm like, okay. But he said he gets bored. We're like a smaller town, so he likes to scan the packages. So I do put them there. But then I'm like, hey, because the basket is like not big,
yeah.
and he's like, oh, like he'll open the door and just let me like put them there, and then he'll scan them. But unless it's a lot, then obviously they say bring it in the back. But yeah.
I also buy a lot of my supplies from Granger, and I have what they call the Red Pass, and it is worth its money and then some, and then some, and then some because I can
Yeah.
order stuff, and I am in a pretty major city. They have like the huge warehouse closest to me is in California, so I can order something and typically by the next day it's delivered to me, sometimes 2 days. And it can be like even weird sizes of boxes and stuff. You do
Yes.
order a minimum of typically 25 of
25.
each box size. And there is stores by me, but it's like 20-30 minute drive each way. And what I pay in gas to like drive there in time, I don't have time for that in Q4. I want to be able to just have it come to me. And if anytime anything is damaged, like I use their chat and I swear they have the best customer service of any company
Yes, they do.
I've ever worked with. Like Walmart, take note from Granger. Like,
For real.
honestly, I will say, like, I'm like, hey, I got the boxes, and you, instead of you guys like wrapping it with plastic, like a couple of them are bent or have full punctures through, and so there's about 5 boxes I can't use anymore. And I had just ordered like 15. Like, they're massive, right? And they're like $1.50 a box. They sent me a whole another pack of 25 for free. And I only told them it was 5. I was thinking I was only going to get the 5 or they'd refund me. They just sent me a whole nother pack. And I was like, again, that just covered half of my, Red Pass cost.
Yeah.
For those
Granger,
boxes.
first of all, I call them Granger Danger. I love them. I personally drive the 30 minutes to our Granger store, but I only do that because on the way to the Granger store, I pass like 4 Walmarts. So usually I have to do a lot of like store pickups during Q4. So I'll like schedule them so they're like on the route. So it's worth it to me. But last Q4, I had a item that needed a 10 cubed box. And that, I guess that's like not really a common size. I don't know. So they don't keep a lot of them on hand, and they didn't have it. The lady I talked to on their customer service, I was on the phone with her. She's like, wait, let me see if I can find just like another store, or even she's like, our major warehouse is only a couple hours away. I'll even see if they can get it delivered to another store. Like, she was like bending over backwards trying to get me these boxes. And I had orders, unfortunately, that like I needed to get out. I think it was like the very next day, and it was a weekend. So I ended up finding like a local box company, but she was so nice. She was like, I will find you these just because she was nice. I was like, you know what, keep the order. Whenever it comes, and I'll still grab them.
Aww.
But yeah, I
that,
agree. Great
right?
customer service. What'd you say?
I think Emily does local.
Yeah, I do local, and I always people who join the communities, like, look around you to see if you have any local supplier first, because sometimes you have all these good options, and like first might be Granger because of prices, but you still need to make connections with your local box suppliers, because you never know when you wake up and it's the oddest size and you need it in 5 minutes.
Yes.
So we go local, and it's okay. It's not always the best. Like, sometimes there's issues with the boxes. We get a lot of misprints. They will be plain. So misprints doesn't always mean they're printed. It could be the wrong size. So they just call them all misprints. So we'll pick up sizes for like 10 cents that they just have laying around because the brand didn't actually pick them up. So I like to keep those guys around. Like, it's a small local company. So sometimes you're dealing with weird personalities and behaviors. Like, there's no HR. There's no HR. But it works out, and that's typically our go-to.
I will sell my soul for a 10-cent box. I will listen to your inappropriateness.
I know. Like, the things they do and say, you're like, this is not workplace appropriate, but we're going to let it slide. I got a deal.
So
I used to work for this manufacturer, and they sold like utility carts, and our saying in sales was anything to sell a cart. And so there was definitely no HR. And so yeah, I feel you.
Oh shit, dude. That's hilarious.
Yeah, whatever you can do to get a deal. Close.
Yeah. I know, Emily, you have to jump off, so we'll say bye to you. Morgan and I are going to stay on. Thanks for popping on, Emily.
Guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
So yeah, Morgan, but I think Granger, and they're not, I mean, feel free if you want to, have an ad with us, Granger, or sponsor our podcast. But
yes,
we just love you so much, so we talk about you a lot. But that was definitely one thing that I'm glad. And guess what? It's a write-off because it's part of your business, like that membership. And it also, you get discounts with your supplies when you have that membership. So boxes are 5 cents or 10 cents off, or poly mailers are 4 cents, 5 cents off each one, by having the pass too.
So if Granger as a company is doing well that month, they'll actually knock down their prices on their supplies. Like, that's like unheard of. This has turned into like a Granger ad, but like for real, like
they remind me of like that Arizona iced tea people, like it's like 99 cents, and then they they refuse to raise their prices because they're doing well. And I'm like, businesses need to take note. Like,
yes. I can't say enough good things about Granger. So that was definitely a good find for me because I'm gonna like talk bad about somebody for a second, but like Uline, okay, like the quality of their products is amazing. Don't get me wrong, like top notch, but holy crap, are
Isn't
you
there
paying
minimums?
for it? Like
Don't they have minimums too? Like you have to spend like $500 or something.
so it depends on what it is. Not
Okay.
everything has a minimum, but the issue that I have with them is they do next day and 2 day shipping. So like, and when you're buying boxes, they're heavy and they're awkward size. So
Mm,
your 2 day shipping, like now I'm a little far, but I used to be maybe about 30 minutes from a Uline, and the 2 day shipping would be like $140. And it's like, and
because you can't pick
now
up,
they do
right?
they brought it back where you can pick up, but
Okay.
for a long time,
That
like
was an
with
issue.
COVID and stuff, you couldn't pick up. And
Wow.
so it's like, and now I'm like 2 hours away from a Uline. So picking up is like that's not even worth it to me. But it's just, I don't know. Again, quality amazing, top-notch products. Like if you also quantity, like because their quantities are a lot higher. So they're in like the 500,000s,
Wow.
5,000. So like if you know you're gonna ship that much with like a poly mailer or poly bag, okay, great. But most of us are smaller businesses and can't afford to like
Where am I putting that
lose that
stuff? Where am I putting all that? And more than anything, where am I putting all that? Like to
the
have a
one
warehouse.
person that I know that consistently uses Uline, I will not mention her name because she's popular in the community. She has her own warehouse, so that makes sense. Like she didn't always have her own warehouse, but she has her
Okay.
own warehouse now. So I'm
Okay.
like, okay, fine, I will give you that because you can like have shelving and stuff for that space. But I get frustrated even now with like the boxes and the poly bags because it's so everything is so awkwardly shaped, and your storage space is not like we're working out of our homes. Like it's not meant for that.
Yeah.
So it's just like stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
It never lines up perfectly. And yeah, so
Too much.
yeah. I agree. But they always do this thing, I think in October or November, where it's like if you spend $500 on supplies, you get 250 off or some
Okay.
deal that everybody always goes crazy over, and
Okay.
that's when they like bulk up on supplies. But I don't know, for me it's like it is a good deal, don't get me wrong, but for me it's like $500 on supplies or 150 on supplies and the remaining 350 on inventory, especially during Q4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I end up, and I end up usually putting my money in inventory. So,
That's the
but
hard part now. Money is the big issue when it comes to Q4. We talk about that a
yeah,
lot because it's just you have to front load, and now you have to keep in mind like the return period for some it's like October 1st to January 1st or January 31st or something. And so money's being
yes,
held longer. Like you're pushing out, you're having to buy all these supplies, buy all the products, but you're not getting your money back. And so that's why we always talk about like being Amazon broke or or Amazon rich or
yeah,
like you're not seeing the money.
inventory rich.
Yeah, it's just inventory rich
Yes,
versus supply rich. It's just a stressful time. So anything you can do ahead of time to kind of like, and it's hard because if it is your first Q4, you don't know till you know. People will
yeah,
tell you to do these things, and I was like, okay. So I had kind of done like buy some of the most familiar sizes, buy some poly bags, but you don't know till the product hits. Like, hey, I need this now, and hey, I need that.
literally.
One thing I'm curious now with UPS dialing back on if you can get supplies or not is I didn't know that occasionally you can't do it often. I think you can do it once every 6 months. You can ask for them to overnight supplies.
Oh yeah, I
So I
only do that because
don't
of
know if that went
Diana
away.
though.
I don't know if that's gone away now. So I'm
Yeah,
curious about that because that was really
yeah,
nice. Every
and
kind of product I was always using the small security boxes, and I needed thousands. And then I was like, "Where's this order?" And it got lost or delayed. And I was like, "I need these by tomorrow. Like I have like 600 orders to ship out." And they're like, "Oh,
uh,
we can overnight. We can actually overnight." I was like, "Thank you, Jesus," because I need
yes,
these now.
I am lucky enough where I'm literally like 45 minutes from like the one of the main UPS hubs out here. So usually as long as I don't order like at like 11 p.m. at night,
Hmm.
then it'll be here literally like the next morning, which is
Nice.
amazing. So I haven't really had to use, I have used it once, but that was only because the main hub was out of the boxes or whatever. But also, I like my issue with UPS like pulling that is, they say like, oh, because the it's meant for like UPS shipments, and it's like, well, we are using UPS shipments, we are buying shipping, we're just buying it through a third party platform. So we're buying it through Vico, we're buying it through Amazon, through Walmart, whoever, but we are buying UPS shipping. Like it's
I
not
know.
like we're just, I don't know. That
But
that
that's
that part is a little bit frustrating to me,
I
but
know, and that's part of the issue too with even disputing if, like when we were just saying, like the box is like 963, but really it's like 1074. And Morgan
yeah.
and I both had issues with overcharges. Like you'll see that ends up like that can happen, especially in Q4. Like make sure it's better to say it's bigger than it is to say it's smaller because FedEx flagged packages last year and I had an $800 extra bill and I brought that up at the summit. But it was a Amazon and he goes, oh, I'm the person for if that happens on Walmart. I'm not the person for Amazon. He said he was going to connect me. Crickets, haven't heard anybody.
Mm,
But it's like, it's hard because they can't research it or pull it up because they want to know the account number. And the account number is Amazon's account
Walmart,
number or
Amazon's account
Vico's
number.
account number or
Yeah,
Walmart's account number. We don't have access to that information. So he did say like they are trying to find and create a department that we can reach out to when we have issues like that, because we shouldn't
yeah,
not be able to open a case. Like you're telling us we need to ship through these platforms. Well, we need to have some protections.
yeah.
So, and I don't feel like the protections they claim are there. Like they try to put the blame back and forth on each other. And yeah, it's like a pissing war back and forth. And I'm like, look,
Yes,
I'm stuck with this bill in the meantime, and you two can't figure out who's responsible for this. Like,
yes.
it's just,
I'm pissed right now because I was just going through my number again. This is things that you wouldn't know unless you're really paying attention to your numbers. I pulled, Walmart has that new well, you use Vico, so maybe you don't know. They have Ship with Walmart, a reconciliation report. So
okay.
now it tells you, like, okay, this is the dimensions that you put in, this is the weight that you put in for this order, and then this is what FedEx or whoever measured, and this is the weight that they measured, and this is how much we told you they were going to charge, and this is how much they actually charged you, which is really nice because I think all platforms should offer that.
Yeah.
um, but I was kind of pissed because I was going through my numbers and I saw that I had an order where they told me the shipping was going to be like $4.52 and they ended up charging me $13.82. And I'm like, why? And the only thing that was different was I put in that the box was 11.85 and whoever was at FedEx put in that the box was 11.58. And I'm like, that's the same
It's
thing.
the
They
same
just
thing.
switched the numbers, but it's the
It's the
same
same
exact
thing.
thing.
I know.
Even if you switch the numbers, that's the difference between the box being this way and the box being this way. It's
Darn
still
it.
the same. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. How
Yeah.
does that go up? What is that? $9? Like, so I actually lost money on that. Well, I think I broke even on it. It was I can't remember what the exact price was, but it was just something I was trying to move that I had for a
Yeah.
while, and it
Yeah.
finally sold. And then I'm like, what the heck? And the box is literally like this. The only reason why it was in a box that big is because it was the dimensions of it were like weird that it
Weird.
wouldn't fit
Yeah.
in a regular like the 1074 or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just like, but now so like my husband's like, well, you need to like call FedEx and complain. And I'm like, yeah, but when I call them, or not FedEx, this one was actually USPS. And I was like, yeah, but when I call them, they're like, okay, well, what's the account information?
Yeah.
And when I give them my information, it obviously doesn't come up. I did
Yep.
it for the kick of it, but it doesn't come up because it's not my account.
Yep.
So I'm just at this like wall of like, now what? And you
Yeah.
open a case with Walmart and that's also talking to a wall.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit, it's one order. So like, whatever.
Yeah. But it's hard. It's hard. These are the things that you don't know to factor into your business. And then especially Q4 and really even Q3, we start doing more merchant fulfilling. Like this is the stuff you have to consider
Yeah.
and like so you're not, are you going to make money on every order? Or sometimes there's these big oversized things and you have to ship them weird. Or I have one item that I always sell, and if people order multiples, it's better for me to send them as singles and like break the order up. You know what I mean? Like and do it as 4 single boxes than it is for me to do one giant box and put them in there, because they are just one of those things that takes up a lot of space. And
Yeah.
so the dimensions to ship it, like a big box, and the weight is like 2 pounds. Like
Yeah.
it's a weight. I lose money if I do it that way. If I leave it as single boxes, they're $5 each one, and so that's like $20 versus when I've shipped a big box with the dimensions, because you're paying for dimensional weight.
Yep.
Like it's dimensions, not always the weight of things. Then the box was like $40. So
Yes.
it's weird. These are the things you have to kind of play with. You have to just kind of take into account. It's one of the reasons I enjoy using VQuo, because I can break it down into multiple. Can you do that on Walmart? Can you break it into multiple
Yeah.
boxes? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Those are things you couldn't. Like when I first started on Walmart, like, I mean, one, shipping wasn't even available. And then a year or two into it, then they added it, but it was like so limited in what you could do.
It's still kind of, well, you know what? I haven't had to do it since last Q4, but last Q4 it was still kind of like a pain, but
Yeah.
it got the job done. But when it gets like too complicated, I just go over to Vico and call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good point that you bring up though. Like, tip wise, I make sure that you are measuring the actual box and you are weighing your boxes, not just guessing, because you'll be surprised how much stuff does or doesn't weigh and you're paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that you're getting like the most accurate readings. And like Jen said in the beginning of the call, so annoying. We had this box from UPS that was 963. Then all of a sudden, for the last however many years we've been selling, it was fine. And then all of a sudden last year, they're like, oh, this box actually measures 1074. And so me and Jen actually measured it, and it does measure 1074. And they said the inside is 963. So on the outside of your boxes, again, when they have the dimensions on it, apparently that's the inner dimensions, not the actual dimensions, which is dumb. So make sure you're actually measuring it, because you do pay for those differences. You might not see it up front, but they are coming out of your payments. They are coming out of your
payments.
Find
you.
And
charge you.
And yeah, not only will they charge you the difference, but then a lot of the time you lose the discount that you received from Walmart or Amazon. So now you're paying full price for the shipping and then the difference. And they also sometimes will charge you an inconvenience fee for them having to like remeasure and relay and that it was wrong.
Kind of service fee or whatever they want to come up with.
Yep. So just make sure, because like Jen said, she had an $800 bill. I had some last year, but mine wasn't bad. I think mine was under $100. But Jen also ships entirely like way more than I do.
I am always merchant-y. I do all the merchant. That's always where I live. I like having the things here. I like having them. It's just part of my controlling personality. It's here and I can like see it, touch it. I don't know. Like and it's also like the satisfaction of like, I made this money and out it goes. I did these things and out it goes. So, but just, these are the things we'll probably do a couple more episodes as we get through Q4, because you guys, it's just little things like this pop up and can really make or break you. So kind of keeping those things in mind. And also like, know that the rates are going up. Like I haven't seen the email yet from the post office, but always they increase its holiday shipping rates. It will go up. So things that were $5.50 are now going to be like $6.10. So you have to factor that in when you're pricing things, and when you're making assumptions about what your merchant fulfilled shipping costs are going to be.
And all of them, UPS, FedEx, USPS, even DHL, they all have their holiday peak season fees. So yeah, make sure you pay attention to that, because it makes a difference.
Yeah. So, Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.